Welcome, everyone.
Hi. Hi, Don.
Thanks, Don.
This is the kickoff party for the illustration of the ancestors. The actual illustration will be in Africa, but we knew that many people could not go to Africa. So we wanted to have something here in the U.S. as well, and this is it. And we are at the Children of Gaia Temple, run by Lady Jen, and her many wonderful people who have been working diligently to make sure it's a wonderful weekend, which it will be. And we have an interesting workshop this afternoon. We have a number of festive occasions through the weekend. But it will be a little more laid back than a full-strength illustration, because we will not be doing demons and things like that. That will take place in Africa. We will have the demons in Africa. We will have the awards in Africa. We'll have announcements in Africa. So watch for video, and it will be coming along. There are some things that are going to be coming in the way of announcements that will be very exciting, because there are changes coming to the Council of Elders, and that will be announced next week. And we'll see what else comes to be announced. Now, one of the most exciting things that's happening is the creation of the Interfaith Library. And we have Laurie here, Laurie Denman. And Liz Hamilton. And you've done a wonderful job with that. I was talking about it on my radio show last night, though nobody could hear me because there were technical problems.
Oh dear.
But it's in the archive.
Yay.
That this has been one of the most successful events that I've seen in quite a while, the book drive. And really considering what you set for your goal, I'd say that you've exceeded it and done really, really well. So congratulations on a job well done. And they're very excited in Africa, as they should be.
Well,
and
we
I'll
were
be
excited doing it.
Yeah, we were very excited doing it. It was a whirlwind, but it was amazing.
Quite a ride.
And I think this will do a lot of good for a lot of people. So thank you very much. So this weekend, I hope that everyone has a wonderful time. I'm sure that you will. One of the things that we find as we go forward is that as a global tradition, it's very hard for us all to be together at one time. It's one of the reasons we use so much video, so much social media, because we'll never get everybody in one room again. And even the people who are most active are likely not even to be on the same continent at any one time. So one of the things that we're finding to be a major challenge, and Lady Stephanie has been doing a lot to work with this challenge, is making everybody feel like that they're all on the same boat. Making sure people can find access to information, making sure that, actually a lot of people here are working on this, but making sure that people know where to go to find out what's happening and to feel like that everyone is included. And it's difficult sometimes to make people who are on different continents feel like they're in the same room, but that's really what we want people to feel. Because we are one tradition, we are one family. And some of our people do feel like they're farther away than others. But the truth is that like the ancient analogy for deity, we are a circle whose center is everywhere and whose circumference is nowhere. And all of our members really should feel like they are at the center. And this, I think, is our greatest challenge at this time. When I went to the Parliament of World Religions 5 years ago now, well, 4 years ago, in Australia, one of the things I really came away with was a strengthened sense of the global nature of what we are doing. We have people now who will not be able to understand these comments because they're not in their own language, and we have people to translate it for them, which is a challenge that in the next 5 years is going to be much more pronounced. In the past, we were mostly here in the United States speaking English. In the future, we're all over the place, and we don't just speak English anymore. Although most of our people do, because otherwise they wouldn't find us, but not everyone. And in the Spanish-speaking world in particular, we're now getting people whose English is not necessarily all that good, but they have access to Spanish language materials. And as we get more materials in more languages, we'll have people for whom our videos in English may not be intelligible. And so our translation I can see the difficulty of trying to make all those different people in all those different places feel like they are together with us. And it's something that we're going to have to find new ways to do. And I think everybody that I'm talking to here physically is pretty much involved in this process at the moment, and very well cut out for it. So this is kind of like your warning that it's only getting worse, or better, depending on how you look at it. The workload is going to get worse, because we're not getting any smaller. And one of the things I find interesting is that the rate at which we're creating new groups is kind of stable in the US, but it's expanding considerably outside of the US. And many of our newest groups are in Europe, or Africa, or South America. And this is really, like I say, it is a new situation for us. It's not like we haven't seen it coming, but it is going to take a lot more effort to really make everyone feel included. And you know, we were joking earlier. We've had a joke for a long time about what it means to be a high priesthood. It means you have to sweep up the room when the event is over. You also have to sweep it up before the event starts. But truthfully, one of the things I think people don't realize, there's a lot of work. The people here know it, that there's a lot of work that goes into running a global tradition and making people feel like they are fully integrated in that tradition. And it is really, when you think about it, a wonderful thing. And you know, I look back to the days when we were a tiny familial tradition, and communication between any pagans was very difficult. You had to know where to go in the first place, and it was almost all typewritten magazines that were usually Xeroxed and distributed. And that was pretty much the only window you were going to have unless you went to a festival. And even then, the people who go to festivals are their own subset in some ways. And there were many others who had no communication at all, because they didn't interact through either of those methods. Today, communication is very, very different. And one of the things we have done through these last 20 years is we've tried to stay on top of every new communication tool. It has been an amazing journey. And last fall, for the Lustration of the Living, there were 3 major lustrations of the living that happened, one here in Florida, one in Illinois, and one in Spain. And of those 3, 2 of them were broadcast live. One by Skype and one by live stream, I believe it was. And that, although not the first things we've ever broadcast live, is a huge step forward. We'll be starting to do this. And we're hoping that next week, the Illustration of the Ancestors will also be broadcast live. Although I have no idea what time that will be in the United States, because I think it's like 8 hours difference. So I think it will be early evening here, but I'm not entirely sure. But we will we'll watch for the announcement of the time, and people can actually take part in that way, which would have been unthinkable 5 years ago. And I was looking through Correllian.com recently. I couldn't tell you why at this exact... Oh, somebody asked about temples. I was looking in the temple list. But anyway, I was looking at our adventures page, and our adventures page has gotten really long. And it doesn't have half of them on it. But go back to the first public lustration, which has been, I believe, over 10 years now. It was held at Pure Sanctuary Temple in Danville, and it was tiny compared to some of the things, some of the lustrations we have today. And you know, the idea of broadcasting it live would have been unthought of. I don't believe there's any video of it. There are photos. And we thought we were doing real good to take photos. And to have people actually come in from other states, which a few people did. Today, it's just a whole different world. And tomorrow is going to be more different. And so, as we go forward together on this journey, it's only going to expand. So, everybody here works really hard. You know who you are. And you know what you do. So I'm not going to go around the whole circle. But pretty much everybody here does something important. And, you know, all I can say is thank you for your hard work. And we're going to pile more on you. As long as you're willing to do it. Because there's never a lack of things to be done. And it's only going to increase. We talked earlier about the library. The library has been a wonderful project. And I'm hoping that's only the first of many building projects that we will see in coming years, not only around the world, but in this country as well. And that it is a sign of things to come. And people in South Africa are very excited about it. We're very excited about it. But I'm equally excited about the fact that we were able to do it. Because if you think about it, it was a big thing. Because getting pagans to give up money or books,
Yeah.
the books are even harder.
Yeah.
And they did, because they knew they were helping people. They knew it was a good thing. And you know, people sometimes ask, and when I do interviews, it's always one of my questions, what's the biggest change you've seen in the community? One of the biggest changes I see is that people are actually starting now to reach out to each other and help each other. And there was a long time when people were much more isolated in their point of view. But you know, now we're seeing projects like this where many people come together to build something wonderful. You saw the telethon for Japan after the horrible tragedy that occurred there. You're seeing a lot of this now, and that is a wonderful step forward in our community, and I think that it speaks to a maturing in the community. And I think that, in closing, I would say we're living in a wonderful time for our community and our tradition, and we're growing. I don't mean that only in numbers, but spiritually as well. Of course, that is the point, but it's happening, and we're moving forward truly into that global world, and we've known that for a while. But you know, we've come through the door, for want of a better way to put it. And I believe the Spirit has a lot for us to do in the future. And so I think that is my main message to you.
A few presentations
I'm glad I did wear the
here.
tie.
I have some presents here.
Don't put them on that table.
No, I'm not going to. I saw that.
Here.
As many people know, I make these banners. So I made some for our brothers and sisters in South Africa. This would be Lady Rain's Elder's banner.
That is beautiful.
One for Light of Temper Temple. Lady Janice. I have one for Children of Gaia.
So much work.
And for Rick, this is Sacred Light. And this one is Lady Tracy, who is not here. Very proud to make it for her. And I believe Lord Don will see it safely delivered.
Absolutely.
So those are my gifts from the heart.
Beautiful work.
Yep.
Beautiful. Always. Thank you very much, sir.
So we have our phone call coming.
Hello, I'm going to attempt to put you on speaker now. Yes, ma'am. All set? Can you hear us?
I want to say hello to everyone who's now.
Do you guys want to come forward?
Should we bring it this way?
We're trying to turn you up louder.
So the camera can hear it? Go ahead.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
Oh, that's
I want to say hello to everyone, or to everyone who's gathered there this weekend. Can you hear me well?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, that's good. I especially want to congratulate Terry and Angela on their hand casting.
Thank you, ma'am.
And Laurie for
Thank you, ma'am.
and I especially want to wish a wonderful time in Africa,
Thank you.
which I'm sure he will have. And I'm there with you in spirit and in heart. And if it's agreeable, the ancestors want to give an order.
Ah, that's a wonderful thing.
Okay. Give me a minute to prepare. You are going to find that the work begun at this lustration will have a very dramatic effect on the tradition and within the work. Also, the work done at this celebration of the lustration begins to say it's time to step forward in more visible way, more connections will be made, doorways will be opened, and it's going to be a very, very short time. They feel to their love and their blessing, and they say that's all. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome. So you guys are ready to get started on your day and have lots of fun?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Oh, yes.
Okay. Well, I give you my blessing, and I will let you know to begin that.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
You're welcome.
Good blessings.
Thank you, cousin.
Oh, you're welcome, dear.
Hugs and kisses from everybody.
And their return. Blessings to all.
Blessings to you.
Blessings.
Blessings.
Bye-bye.
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 That was awesome.
And I'm not certain, I think this is something we've never done before either. Having somebody call in on speakerphone. I can't, we've talked about it before. I don't know that we've actually done it before. We have.
We've actually done rituals that way when someone was in the hospital or out of town and they wanted to be in ritual. We would put the cell phone on the altar and
So wonderful.
that way they could be there.
I think one of the most exciting things I've seen are all the different ways that technology has impacted ritual. Because we have things like using the cell phone in ritual. We have people doing live rituals on Skype. We have chat room rituals. We have radio rituals. All kinds of things that 30 years ago nobody even was imagining was ever going to happen. And so stop and think about what may come in this next 30 years. Who knows what we'll be seeing? It really may be a whole different ballgame, so to speak. So.
But let's get a vision of a holodeck ritual.
I
Yeah, that would be very
cool.
Well, that technology, I believe people are trying very hard to have that. And so, wonderful things are coming. It's going to be a wonderful weekend. And I think with that, we're ready to take our break. And so, thank you, everyone.